I'm gonna love you, love you, love you. I've been in the garden today with my lucky red, and I just got the report that it is going to rain tonight. Um, I wasn't running out of water. I got still about 50 gallons of water in my water storage unit, and I'm gonna tell you, folks, it feels good. I don't know if I'm gonna up it to 200 gallons. Something's telling me to up that water to 200 gallons instead of 100. Just go to 200 and be done with it. 200 gallons of water. Oh, that was you. I just finished looking at one of your videos with the plant with the big leaves. Yeah, it reminds me, as big as they were, of collard greens. Doesn't look like a collard green, but it was the size of a collard green leaf. Do you do any gardening in the fall? I am amazed. I contacted the Department of Agriculture here in Maryland, and sometimes I am amazed that there are questions that you can bring to them, and some of them they don't know the answer to. Like for instance, I asked them, "What is the latest date that I can still put collard greens in uh, uh, excuse me. Hey, how you doing there, backyard gardener? I was asked, and the question: when is the last date that I can safely put collard greens in the ground um, without worried about them being put in too late? And they said that we have I said yes, the planted winter crop. Yes, I planted winter crops. Now, what when you say winter crops, what? Give me just one or two items you're talking about. Winter crops. What do you mean when you say winter crops? It'd be nice if there were things we could put right outside in the winter here in Maryland that you didn't have to fuss over. But some of them have to put them in hoop houses and double walls, so they could. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. My yard, my yard. Playing in my yard. Yes. I gave up an opportunity to go to karaoke tonight. Just didn't feel like it. Let's see. Hello. Playing in my, oh, okay. It just said hello. Yeah, but my collard greens are coming up. The ones that are in the containers are kale, radishes, lettuce, and under hoop. Okay, okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thinking about planting popcorn next year. Planning on planting popcorn next year. Now I want to ask you, why do you want to plant popcorn? Hey, hi, hello, how you doing? All right, Miller's Garden. Now, because popcorn is not too expensive, right? Or is it a better tasting kernel when you grow it yourself? Probably is. Let's see, backyard gardener. Hey, hey, hey. Has anyone seen the gardener they call Lead Farmer 73? Has anyone seen him lately? Has anyone seen a baby? Oh, baby. Yes. Okay. Melissa said yes. She has seen him. Is he doing okay? Mm-hmm. Yes. Saw today. Today. Okay. Today. Just finished watching his. Oh, okay. Drone video. Okay. Got it. Got it. That's all right. Yeah. But I'll say one thing. He's a good gardener, and he tries different things, and that always is a plus. He was on vacation in Florida. Okay, in Florida. It tastes a lot different and okay, brands of popcorn. Okay, I got you. I got that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. It tastes different. Popcorn. Now my favorite thing is popcorn. I love eating popcorn. I like melted butter on top of popcorn. Melted butter. I am using a new, look like he has okay, he's got a critter problem. Lots of traps. Okay, he laid lots of traps around. I probably have critter problems that don't even know it because I saw one year my apples, about six of them that about a foot from the ground, they were all chewed into, and it was like it happened overnight or something like that. And I said, wonder what that was. It looked like a bird or a rodent, a small rodent. But that tree produced very well. And it was only probably a year and a half, 2 years old. It was very young. I remember being a very small tree, and and it definitely something I don't understand here. They say a lot of different things about the way you're supposed to grow things, and everybody's got an opinion. Everybody got the right to do things the way they should, or they care to. But here's the deal: uh, when people plant apple trees or peaches or whatever the case may be, and they say do not allow the tree to go to producing the first time it wants to go out and produce. Go ahead and take those fruits off, remove the blooms or whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay, that's what they say. Let me tell you what I found out. If you look at nature, and if you have a tree that produces blooms, and the birds remove some of the blooms, and the critters that crawl around in the trees remove some of the blooms. The blooms are not stunted. I mean, the tree is not stunted, but they tell you not to grow any fruit on it. They say don't grow any fruit because if you do, but in the wild, apple trees grow the way they should grow. Every single thing around them is natural. If a bird takes the apples, if a raccoon eats some apples, if a possum eats some apples, it's no big deal. But they got all these rules when and I'm gonna tell you something else I saw. Because I watch a lot of videos. I watch a lot of your videos as well. But I saw it's two videos out. These farmers. It's like maybe three videos, and it shows the trees being trimmed by a machine that the guy's driving. It's a tractor actually, and he drives along, and it cuts the top down and the sides, and that's what it does. Um, uh, and yet when they show other videos, they show um, the man or the woman, and they say you must cut this branch this way, it must lead up to this way, and you must make sure you cut it this way so that you don't cause it to overproduce branches. And yet, when the farmer, which is a professional, um, because his job or her job depends on them to do it a certain way so that they produce food or income. So they can't be out there all day like a gardener, because gardener can make mistakes all day and recover from it. But a farmer can't do that. Farmer has to say, I got rent, I got electric, and I got, and these things must be paid, and it's coming from the revenue from these plants. Now, when I look at the trees that the farmer cut, and he goes over the top, and what it's doing is basically it's doing this. It's hacking off the top. It's cutting the lateral, vertical, and horizontal branches. How tall he wants it, and how much he wants it to come into that aisle. And he just goes through and he's just hacking everything off. Now I'm watching this. Um, Now while he's doing this, I'm looking at it, and the machine is set up to kick the branches. It grounds them up and it kicks them down at the base of the tree as fertilizer. Now, when a tree is pruned, they tell you it must be done a certain way. It must be done a certain way. Good evening. Good evening. It must be done a certain way. And then it contradicts that when someone takes the time to create a machine that will drive down the aisle of these apple trees. And when you look at the whole row when he's finished, they're perfectly neat, horizontal and vertical. They look like bushes. Now, when it's riding down the aisle, it's not saying, oh, clip this one because this one goes out this way and this one goes in this way, clip it that way and make sure you clip this. It's not doing that. It's just hacking everything off. So when that happens, I question it. I said, wait a minute. So all this meticulous pruning that some people do. Yeah, right. It's machine cut. It's machine cut. But my point is machine cut. Okay, so you machine cutting everything, but you're not worried about snip and snip and snip. You're not doing that. What you're doing is going down and just hacking everything off the sides the way you know based on your experience or your information, and it's telling you that once you hack this off, this tree will produce a certain number of blossoms and fruit, and it'll be a certain size. So we can manage this tree so we can get up in the tree and get what fruit it produces. And they have to know how much fruit is still left on those trees when they do this. And I think that's interesting. Because it lets you know. Now, I look for a ton of videos. I always look for videos on information of keeping fruit trees small. Because there was a story that one person told me in a video. I remember, never forget the video, but I don't know the name of it. But they were talking about having a tree small enough so a person that's even in a wheelchair can pick their own fruit. And I said, wait a minute, that's pushing it a bit. But all of my fruit trees now, because I'm out there now doing cutting of my fruit trees, and I have I have peach trees, plum trees, apple trees, cherry trees, you name it. Let's see, plums, apple trees, yeah. Okay, I think I call it peaches. Yeah, I did say peaches and apples. And these trees are at about 6 feet now. They're about 6 feet. Yeah, okay, open it up for the sun. I'm familiar with that, yes. And also removing dead branches from the tree. I'm with you 100% on that. But what I'm saying is that with a machine cut, it is a cut that allows the tree to still produce very well, and it also allows the tree to be kept at a certain size. It's not going through the trees and taking time and nipping at this and nipping at that. It's not doing that. It's not doing that at all. It's just going through there, cutting the branches at a certain length. So when you cut it, a certain number of blossoms are still left. There, like you said, also the unit will allow for certain light in the tree because the branch is now a certain length. So yeah, but I like the way the machine does it, and you can simulate that, by hand. All you got to do is say, I want these branches to come this far out of this tree. I want them to be no longer than 3 feet long. I want this tree to be no taller than 6 feet tall. And you can actually keep all your trees like that because my trees are like that for the most part. My trees are like that. Oh, the fourth year. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. I was looking at that. Well, I was saying, wait a minute. What did he put? The fourth year. Yeah, my trees are all about 4 and 5 years old. Some of them maybe 6 years old. Um, and I do have some apple trees, a couple of them that are 3 years old. But one thing I will say is that um, I was so happy today. I saw a few bees in the yard, and but I'm curious as to why am I only majority of the time each year I'm seeing most of the bees, honeybees that is, I'm seeing most of the honeybees near the winter. Why is that? When the spring and summer is here, the majority of the insects I see are bumblebees and wasps and yellowjack, and that's pretty much it. Now, wait a minute. You said something. Now, I got to talk to you about this because you just hit the nail on the head. Watch this. There was a book some years ago that I was reading, and it said everyone doesn't have the same soil. So, what they were doing is they were cutting the tree back. Now, tell me if you're familiar with this. They were cutting the tree back so that it would only produce what the soil would support. That's what it would do. In other words, they were removing so much of the tree or a certain portion of the tree. They would say, I can't have this tree produce 100 apples. It won't carry them out to the right size and flavor. So we're going to cut this tree back so it will only produce 40 apples, say for instance. I'm just using that as an example. But the 40 apples that are on the tree will be of higher quality. As far as sweetness, as far as size, quality, it would be that. So they adapted this method where they would make the tree uh, so that it would only take a certain amount of nutrients um, to support that tree. You're familiar with that, I see. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Trees left to grow wild have disease and insect problems. Yeah, I think that you're gonna in nature every animal has its challenges. Yeah, and you're right. It's just true. For myself, when I plant a tree, I look at all the uses. Okay, you look at all the uses when you plant a tree. I say for myself, when I plant a tree, I look at all the uses. Now, one thing I've done that you mentioned a while back, because I was running out of space, and you were saying that you could grow grapevines next to the tree and allow the tree to be a support for the grapevine. And so I adapted it. I said I'm gonna use it because what I have now there's a Neptune is a white grape that is a large white grape. It is uh, it is a large white grape. I say balanced soil and environment is not disease or any other. Watch this. Watch the video. Watch the video. Little grasshopper. Well, it's a video called Little Grasshopper. Okay, will do. Will do. Balanced soil and environment and no disease on any of my trees. Watch my video, Little Grasshopper. I will do that. I will do that now because um, I'm proud of the fact that my trees not for my, as I said, not for you, one another. For, oh, okay. Not for you, one another. For, yeah, just having, just, no, nothing wrong with that. Please, be yourself. That's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I just want to, I just want to grow food because, but I love growing food that has a very high quality to it, very high quality, and that really gets to me when I can grow an apple and it's crunchy, sweet, um, and it has very few, if any, blemishes on it. And I get that because when allow my yard to grow, and I do my chop and drop. Just having uh, what I do is it's so much fun when I see that the bugs in my yard are only eating the weeds and they're not eating any of my produce. That's interesting. They're not eating any of my produce. They're eating the grass and the weeds and I mean something that they're totally natural with, in that environment. They're eating that as opposed to my plants. None of my okra gets eaten up. None of my corn this year was eaten. None of my tomatoes were eaten. Nothing. Nothing was eaten. The last year was the same thing. And but sometimes I think I allow my yard to get a little overgrown. Little is for lack of a better word. I mean it gets overgrown because you get those days where it gets like 99 degrees outside for 3 to 4 to 5 days, and you cannot go out there to do anything really. And then when it cools down at night, it's still 150 degrees. It feels like, and you have. Uh, I do have, yeah. I do feel it's pretty tough to work in those temperatures. We were blessed with large amounts of food this year, uh, and past and past years, plants came using. Hey, the question I want to ask you here. Food forest permaculture. You do have years where you grow more, and you have years where, for whatever reason, maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the moisture, but you don't grow as much. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Hello, how you doing? Gardener and family. Okay, all right. And we're just up here discussing what we've grown this year, and we're also looking at better ways to grow more food. Hello, hello, gardening. As a pathway soil banks give us food for the soil is made and where we are, where we have abundance of share with it. Okay, so you always have an abundant garden. Okay, that's all right. Always have an abundance of food. The you had a video had a bumper crop for this year. Oh, you had a great year as well. Okay, all right, great. All right, I like to hear that. Um, the I saw you. It was a video, and it was interesting, very interesting. Nice, great. Okay, great protein. Okay, protein. I've seen one of your videos you showed. and you were putting things in the ground, and you even used, well, let's say four-legged friends also contribute to your garden's way of feeding your soil. And I looked at that and I said, okay. And you were putting, let's see, you had lobster shells and things of that nature you put in the ground, and you're putting all this in the ground. Now, here's what I like about what you do. The items that you're putting in the ground doesn't cost you anything. Um, and you are putting them in there, and the ground is being fed. So you're basically, like I was saying earlier, me using myself, I'm using the chop and drop. And chop and drop is basically organic matter put in or on top of the soil until it eventually finds its way into the soil. Okay, yeah, you use everything. You use everything. Empty towel, the tube that's inside the towel. Um, you might have if you have any soup that goes bad, you pour that in there. Spoiled milk, you put that in there. You put, um, items from the refrigerator. If you peel an onion, you put the onion peels in there. Whatever, you put all of these items in there, and your plants eat them when the soil biology breaks it down and put it in a usable form for the plant. Is that about the gist of what you do? I had an opportunity today. I went into Home Depot, and um, when I got there, I saw. Oh, you typed a long one this time. Yes, built in the coffee grounds, dead goldfish, a biochar, wood chips, and everything. So it's a whole thing of everything that was once alive. You put it in the ground. Okay, got you. That makes sense. Ash will, let's see, will blend the soil. Oh, okay, okay. Now, do you find yourself ever saying to yourself, "I wish I would do a soil test"? Do you ever find, or you just don't bother with that? Mm, sugar to bounce microbes. Sugar to build microbes. When you okay, you said sugar. Are you talking about sugar to build microbes? Are you talking about microbes that you would give them like the brand name sugar or the expensive sugar or generic sugar because they got different things. I'm just asking so that if anyone's in this room that might want to learn how to do this, I mean, I'm just trying to pull it out so that you would say, okay, here's what I'm doing. I'm using, can I say, never did soil test, but my study found no problem. Okay, no problem with your soil. Never did a soil test. Now, when are you putting sugar in your soil? Is it a one-time thing? Is it once a month? Is it what are you doing? Let's see, sugar bills. Now you say sugar bills IMO. Sugar bills IMO. In my opinion, Okay, it says, okay, let's see. Fall and spring, just to replace the April. Okay, round leaf, sugar releases. Oh, okay, okay, got you. Okay, thank you. So you do that, you add sugar to your garden in the fall and spring, just to replace. Interesting. And you use regular white granulated sugar. Oh, okay, 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 got you. Sugar of any kind. This man is quite a gardener, folks. He's quite a gardener. I mean, I've heard of using sugar before. I've definitely heard of it. Um, and never really, never really caught on. I was like, wait a minute, why would you put sugar on the ground, And you're saying, no, I use sugar to stimulate or to feed the biology in the soil. Honey and maple syrup is the best. Honey and maple syrup is the best. Okay. Hey, I finally caught a live stream. Finally caught a live stream. Hello, how you doing? I guess it's greetings from Northeast GA. Okay, said hello. That was good. Let's see. 20% or more food with sugar twice a year. I'm gonna try it. Absolutely. Now, do I have to use it like a? How much sugar am I using per square foot? Am I using a cup, a gallon, or 5 pound bag, or um, what am I doing here? Because people gonna see me out there with the sugar. They gonna say, "What is wrong with my neighbor?" He said sugar because he said, "What are you guys talking about?" That's what he's saying. What are you guys talking about? Sugar. And I do believe. Let's see. Wait a minute. Okay, let's see. Handfuls of waste and eat. Okay, so you do in fact use sugar around your trees as well. I think let's see, a handful every 4 square foot. Beautiful. You couldn't have put any tip in that. A handful every. Now here's what I think I'm going to do because I like what you said, and I'm going to try a slightly different twist to it. Now I hope this doesn't throw anything off than what you said, but I'm gonna do a slightly different twist because every single garden is a little different. I have a watering can which I can put um, water in, and I can put 3 or 4 handfuls in there, and stir it up and pour it around my plants and all, so that I can get the sugar evenly dispersed or whatever. It's just something to do, and I'm gonna try both ways. I'm gonna try the way you suggested, and I'm gonna try just the in a water container, just to have something to do. Gotta add a little bit of my flavor to it. Let's see there. Sugar goes through. They are grown. Okay, okay. Beautiful, beautiful. You did a beautiful job here. Food forest permaculture. Beautiful job. Sugar as a fertilizer, and he's still saying sugar as a fertilizer. This gentleman here or person here is in fact shocked because it's like it's totally new to them. It's like it seems like it's new to them. Get the what? Um, but I like it. I like it. Now let me ask this one other question. Food forest permaculture. Do you ever find yourself ever doing chop and drop? Blend balance earth. Nature is dry. I do. Mhm. Thank you very much. And you wrote here that yes means you do in fact use chop and drop. You do you us say been chopping and dropping for 3 years. Wait a minute, 3 years old. Beautiful job, food for permaculture. Beautiful job, beautiful. I've got to have you on my show more often. I love this. I love this. This is what I'm talking about. Because when I chop that, I just want to say this to you, and you probably witnessed it yourself. I chop and drop. I've been doing it for the last maybe 4 years. I use unsulfured black strap molasses as fertilizer. Okay, okay, that sounds great. That sounds great. Um, now build yourself first. 4 years, 46 years ago. Uh, okay. Food forest 46 years ago. Your first food forest was 46 years ago. I started using chop and drop about 3.5, 4 years ago. One thing I like about yes the continent for sure. Wait a minute. Who's this? Let's see. It looks like Naked Gardener. Is that what you wrote here? Or for sure? Yes, the Naked Gardener for sure. Is he? He's a good gardener, or okay? Because the group will look after itself. The group will look after itself. Yeah, because you're right. Once you get everything set, you. But one thing I'm amazed by is when I started chopping and dropping, I used to have all of this black strap molasses. Yep, another type of sugar. It is it is all natural. It is all natural. Yeah, it is all natural. Black strap molasses. I wonder how much that stuff costs now. Because I know that they have it up at, well, I used to see it up at Walmart. I'll tell you what I'll do. I might look up to my other store, Aldi's, and Aldi's, yes, TNG. TNG. Hmm. TNG. Yes, TNG. Um, I use the chop and drop method, and I started noticing that the soil started to change. The soil was blacker, it was looser, and I started to have ample numbers of worms in my garden just by using chop and drop. And I felt like, why did I do this years ago? Because I just didn't know. No books taught me that you could use weeds as fertilizer because I think what's going on is that it used to say things that it was certain plants you could use, but actuality you can use plants because they all are living, on this planet, and they were once alive. Once you chop them down and they hit the ground, the biology and the soil starts to take it in. I say, there's only one way. Everyone can chop and drop. There's only one way. I don't know. I don't follow your question here, but because I think that I add it all the time. I don't do anything but just add it all the time. That's what I do. I said coffee grounds from Starbucks. There it is again. I see coffee from Starbucks. And when I go wood chips, okay, I did that one time. That's an awful lot of work from where I was looking at. There's leaves. I still use the leaves. Gentlemen used to bring them to me. They was like 800-900 pounds of them a year. That's a lot of leaves to try to drag around in a tarp. Let's see. Let's see. We kind of use chopping back when we uh, prune. Okay, okay. We uh, yeah, yeah. That's what I do. I keep them around my trees so that they'll break down and and do what they got to do. Let's see, bark mulch. Let's see, wood ash. Yeah, I use the wood ash. I don't. That's with the biochar, just the wood ash. I use what I have. Peanut shells. Last time I had peanuts was 2 years, 3 years ago. Let's see. I just picked up some ground garden from Starbucks. Okay. Um, I mean, we have Dunkin' Donuts, and then we got a Starbucks all the way up in a busy area, and it's like where you're gonna park at and all of that. So but if you got a Starbucks in your location where you can get to, your car parked in the right place, and say, hey, I'm interested in your spent coffee grounds for my garden, and they'll my understanding is they should have them there for you. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, okay. The Naked Gardener. Okay, I'm gonna look into that. Because it's always good to get knowledge. You can use. Yeah. Now, here's one thing you put here. Saying we can use food waste, and they have used because I was watching one video, and what this guy would go to the restaurants. He would get all this rotten food, and he was pouring all this rotten food on the ground. I mean, he was making uh, thousands of pounds of um, mountains of this stuff. He was, straight line and everything. It was mountains of this rotted food. He just kept piling up. Now, what happened? He saw and he learned some things from it. Number one thing he learned is that a lot of the food, when he put it there, which was interesting to me, is the food started growing on its own. It was growing celery, it was growing tomatoes, it was growing potatoes. I mean, it was just he thought that was interesting that the food nature has the ability to just want to survive. And even though when you go to restaurants, remember they peel some things and they cut things off and everything. So they cut alpha potatoes for the grow. It's just seeds from a busted rotten tomato. If you put it in the right sun and temperature, it'll start growing a plant on its own. And he saw that. But one thing that did happen is the food he was putting out there created quite a the birds were eating it, the seagulls and all kind of animals were eating it. And but he left it there because he wanted it to become compost. Let's see. If I grow, I just want to ask you gentlemen a question because that's one thing I've always been kind of curious about when it comes to using because I have some bags of fertilizer that I got from a business, and you might have seen it advertised before, where the company was making fertilizer from restaurant waste, basically. And I don't see much of that business around anymore. I don't see any bags in Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't see them anymore. Maybe I've missed seeing them. But let's see. Well, let me fly. When I show, all right now, all right. And thank you very much for the information. Organic biology, man, is awesome as long as it's not toxic. Okay. Now, before you go, I want to ask you one question. Before you leave, we've been hearing a lot about Roundup. Do the other, uh, you know, does the other weed killers carry the same potential to injure a person as Roundup does? Roundup is still in the stores, even though they got these large suitcases against them. Okay, you're saying yes, the other ones do carry the same ability to do the exact same harm to you. That's sad. I mean, Roundup. Some people have been using it. I was a gentleman at work using it without a mask or anything. He was just spraying it to get the weeds, the little cracks and everything, and to stay away from. Okay, toxins. Okay, all right. I appreciate it. Bad news because we keep forgetting that we're primarily plants ourselves, and so if it'll kill a plant, it'll do some damage to you. Vinegar for weeds. Vinegar for weeds. Okay. But yeah, that's interesting. Now, you not everyone that have used Roundup is coming down with cancer. They have shown cases where people would use it. I think what they're saying is people have been using it for years or in large quantities and been around it, and they're coming down with problems. Um, I have seen, like I said, people at work that use this on a daily basis, and they're spraying. Wait a minute, lawn companies use this Roundup. Okay, yeah, I tell you, and I've seen people use them in lawn companies. I work for a lawn company, and we had a chemical that we used called Roundup, and I think I used it like twice because, well, maybe once, and and I was like, something's wrong with this because it kills weeds, and why am I walking around without nothing on my mouth or anything like that? But I think that was I want to say it was, how long ago was that? I don't know. It might have been 7, 8 years ago. Yeah, I agree. Food forests, liquid soap, I just wonder why the other weed companies aren't getting sued like Roundup. Why is Roundup then singled out? Peace. You'll never find as long as you live. Roundup is a cancer-causing toxin. Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. And this person came in at the time that I'm getting ready to check out, but I appreciate everyone coming in. Lord knows I do. When I saw these people crowding in here, there's 11 people in here right now. Only you, Food for Permaculture, and where's the other gentleman at there? Uh, and are actually having a interesting conversation and trying to get the information out. Most of the individuals are very quiet and they haven't said anything, but they have a right to that. They, just lay back and listen, and you get some information that way as well. But I'm one of those people. I want EM1. Do you still use? Oh yeah. The EM1. Oh man, that's something. I like it. I mean, EM1 is interesting. It's interesting. EM1 is interesting. It's very cheap to make. And they were selling it. Listen, they were selling it for $28 a bottle, and that wasn't even shipping it to you. And all it is spoiled rice. And what else is in it? I can't think of it right now. I got the recipe written down. It's just spoiled rice and milk, you know, and and it creates this life form in the container that all you have to do is take care of it and use it in your garden. It's incredible. You're adding bacteria to your soil is what you're doing, but it's a good bacteria and it helps your bacteria to do better. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I love it. I'll say this much: it's cheap to make, and that's always a plus. And you use it, and you can tell when you use it that your plants will perform better. I mean, you put it on plants, and you'll see the plant get dark green, and you'll say, "Uh huh, yeah, this is working." All right, good people, this is the Morning Gardener, and I'm gonna close it out for the night. But I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Look at the smile on my face. I had a good time. Thank you very much, and remember to keep on growing. Thank you.